Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us and being a part of these ongoing conversations that we're having with our global partners in a season where COVID is kind of inviting us to turn inward and think mostly about ourselves and those that are closest to us. We wanted to be sure to remember that we have great partnerships, particularly in Africa, and they're doing great things. And so we want to be a part of cheering them on, catching up with them, and also taking action where applicable now. And so I have with me three wonderful people who represent the Africa Windmill Project, an organization that we've partnered with for a lot of years that I absolutely love. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves. So Gibozi, why don't you start by introducing yourself?
Thank you very much, Garry. My name is Gibozi Mphanzi. I am from Malawi. Malawi is the warm heart of Africa, and I am the country director for Africa Windmill Project here in Malawi. I'm so happy to be here with you today. Thank you.
All right, Drakes, how about you guys?
I'm John Drake. I've been in Orlando since 2000, and we've attended Summit since the Loma Cinema Grill days.
Awesome.
I'm Kimberly Drake, his wife.
Yes. And guys, why don't you tell us a little bit, for those that don't know or maybe need a refresher on what the Africa Windmill Project is, why don't you share a little bit about where it came from and what that ministry is?
So I went on one of Summit's first mission trips to Malawi, to Africa. And there we were doing HIV/AIDS awareness with children of the nations. And while I was there, I realized that the country was predominantly agriculture, and they were smallholder farmers, but they were only growing food when it rained. And what they really needed, what the kept telling me, was that they needed irrigation in order to grow food year round.
So we say when John was on a mission trip, he realized that there was a rainy season in Malawi and a dry season in Malawi and a hunger season in Malawi. And HIV was a huge problem. It was affecting over half of the population. It was a big deal. But the other even bigger problem that was affecting about 90% of the population was malnutrition. And so if there was a way to take them from the rainy season and the dry season and have that hunger season go away, irrigation could solve that problem by letting them grow food year round, regardless of whether or not it was raining.
Yeah. So, okay. So lots of people maybe have ideas, right? But John, you did something about this idea. And when we met, I remember coming to your house and there was a giant windmill in the backyard. Tell us a little bit about how you went from this idea to actually forming this organization that's actually fighting hunger in Malawi.
So, yeah, after that Summit trip, I came back to the US and tried to go back to life, but as usual, but I just kept thinking about Malawi and irrigation. So then did a lot of research, and I grew up in Texas, so I knew a fair bit about windmills. So then I did research on how can we build a windmill in Malawi out of locally found materials. So then went back in 2009 with a few friends, and we built a prototype there and found someone there that would work full-time for us and help us get it up and off the ground as an organization.
Yeah, I remember one of my first trips to Malawi. We went out to a field, and it, we drove out and saw this small. At that time, it was a wooden frame, and it looked like a bicycle tire, and it had a chain and some rubber washers and Coke bottle tops, and it was feeding down into a lake, and there was this lush garden at the top. I mean, very large garden. And I remember we went over and someone started cranking water, and water went down from this lake up, or river, up into this field and started flooding the field kind of with irrigation. And I was just amazed at the ingenuity of it. The use of materials was incredible. But I remember as water was kind of coming out of that, the guy who was turning the crank, his name was Blessings, and he looked at me and he goes, "When you come back to Malawi, everyone will have food and jobs and cars and homes." And I just remember the optimism of that, the potential of actually empowering people to have food security and what that could mean for that community. It struck me ever since. And that type of optimism based around kind of practical development in the name of Christ is just huge. And so thanks for your work. Gibozi, I want to turn to you and tell us a little bit about practically what Africa Windmill Project is doing now, maybe a little bit what a normal ministry looks like, and then maybe how COVID has impacted things for you guys.
Thank you very much, Garry. So Africa Windmill Project is working with over 3,000 farmers, and the farmers are scattered all over the central region of Malawi. Most of the farmers are in Lilongwe, and then we have some farmers in Salima, and we have some farmers in Mchinji, and we have one farmer in Kota. All of these are districts in the central region of Malawi. So in the past, like years before COVID, we would go out into the fields from February up to maybe November. But this year has been a little bit different. For the first time, we had to close our offices because we needed people to be safe. Mm-hmm. So staff had to self-isolate. And then when we came back, it wasn't life as usual. It was kind of different. We had to isolate in the office. We had to use face masks. We had to sanitize every now and again. And we had to make sure that when staff are going to visit farmers, they are keeping distance between them and the farmers to make sure that we don't take COVID-19 from maybe the big city and then take it to the villages where people are more vulnerable. So it's been a cautious year, trying to be safe and to make sure that things are working. But during normal years, like in the past, we could have staff go out and interact with a lot of farmers and maybe shake hands and yeah, but this time things have been different. Yeah. And also in the past, we were used to having teams of friends and supporters from the US come and see what we are doing and have fun together, but this hasn't been so because of the travel bans and everything. So yeah, this year has been different, but we are here and we thank God that we are here.
Yeah. Gibozi, one of the things that last time I was in Malawi, I think this was 2 years ago, that it was so impressive to me about how you guys function is, one, I got a chance to see your offices, and out back is where you do all the fabrication, and that process has improved over time as you've learned, and it's amazing. I loved seeing the shop out back. But one of the things I liked when we went out to the field is you showed me, and we talked a little bit about how farmers go from an introduction to you guys to having maybe a hand cranked irrigation system, and then over time as the partnership grows, then it moves toward windmills. Can you talk a little bit about the progression of how you interact with farmers and people in the community to build trust over time and to build ownership over time? Either Gibozi's thinking really hard or we've lost the connection a little bit. Kimberly, do you want to talk a little bit about that, and hopefully we'll get Gibozi back?
Yes, of course, Garry. So the first thing that we do when we go to a new area is we meet with the district agriculture committee, and they kind of tell us about what they're doing with agriculture, what their hardships are, what their successes are, and we introduce ourselves, and then we come alongside of them, and we do it in a 4-year program. The first year is we work together as a community, all the while partnering with them on what their needs are. So in some cases, if they have a hard problem with pests, that's the first thing that we address. And then over the course of the 4 years, we begin introducing just irrigation methods with the bucket. It's what they're familiar with, and have them have success with that. And then the next year we introduce the hand crank pump, which is, made of found materials. They cut the washers out of the same cans they have oil from. And so we just do it very slowly. And then by the 3rd year, we are releasing some lead farmers that are starting to rent other land, or hand crank pump is great for about up to an acre. But when you start farming more than that, the windmill is an excellent application. And so that's where our lead farmers come in, and then they start to receive those windmills in year 3 or 4.
Yeah, I love that kind of building trust over time, partnership follows relationship model that you guys use. I was hoping we'd get Gibozi back because, as John said before we started this recording, he's smarter than all of us, but technology is what it is. And so, John, would you maybe share a little bit about how you've seen God working even in this strange season, or maybe Kimberly, you can jump in as well, in this strange season of ministry with COVID? How have you seen God show up with Africa Windmill Project?
I'd say with our donors, at the beginning of the year, everybody's not knowing what was going to happen with COVID. Everybody was kind of freaking out. And we had several donors say, send in an extra donation and say, we're with you through this hard time.
Wow.
And so that was really huge and encouraging to know that the ministry work over there and irrigation was going to continue.
Yeah, absolutely. So as people at Summit are thinking about Africa Windmill Project, how can we be praying for Africa Windmill Project? And maybe what are some other ways, either now or in the future, that we could say, I want to know more about this ministry, and I want to partner with this ministry? Kimberly, you want to take that one?
Sure, absolutely. We definitely covet your prayers. Summit has just been the foundation of Africa Windmill Project since 2007. We consider ourselves a parachurch organization, and it's because, we exist because of you. And I would say prayers for the staff and the farmers, just for health. God has really blessed the staff. No one's been ill with COVID. None of the family members have been ill. Our farmers haven't faced it yet in the villages. So that's just a huge blessing. The new president is a huge blessing to the country. So just continued prayers for the government there, and for continued health for everyone is definitely paramount. I would say on the supply chain, that has been interrupted because of COVID, just prayers that for some, by some miracle, God would continue to provide the seed that is needed, the pesticides that are needed, the fertilizer for that country, because that really can impact them in a great way. Summit, just the volunteers that come alongside of us, U.S. side, we don't have any staff in the U.S. So all the volunteers that, whether it's helping, your wife has even helped address letters, to go to our donors and let them know just how important they are to us. That's just huge. People who help with our website, or who help make phone calls. People have breakfast and they talk about Africa Windmill Project to their friends. And really that's how we support the work going on over there, is by advocating and raising awareness about it. Watch a movie. There's a movie called The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. Some of it was filmed in Malawi, a lot was filmed in Kenya, but it's educational and it teaches you about what life is like over there without irrigation, how important agriculture is, and who doesn't love watching movies? So that's a great way you can come alongside of us and just know more. But definitely your prayers, that is just huge.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, guys, I appreciate you guys so much. Every time I go to Malawi, I'm always like, hey, can we take a day and go check out what's going on with Africa Windmill Project? Just because I love so much what you guys are doing, and we love being a partner with you guys. Great advice there, Kimberly, to watch a movie. Everybody loves watching a movie, and definitely praying for COVID to have limited impact there, reduced impact there, and for that new government. My understanding is the president is actually a pastor, and so that's a real opportunity for that country that people seem very excited about. And so love what you guys are doing. Thank you for your continued faithfulness and energy toward making Malawi a place where food sustainability is a reality. We are with you and we are for you, and we look forward to lots and lots more years of partnering together. We will talk again soon. Thank you again so much. And we'll check in on Gibozi. I'm sure it was just an internet issue, but I'm glad he could join us for part of this as well. That's a quick overview of Africa Windmill Project, and there'll be more information on this page that you can click on and check out to stay connected with Africa Windmill Project. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, Summit.